So before I start this video, I first like to state I do apologize for the noise in the background. We're experiencing some heavy volume rain. I'm in my living room, and it's a little loud when it comes to the rain, so I do apologize. Sorry for the inconvenience. Two, this is going to be an extremely long video, okay? So if you don't like long videos and occasionally hearing the rain a time or two through this whole process, I do apologize, and it is what it is. But without further ado, let's get into today. See, it's already doing it with today's topic, okay? So, several reports are out there. Several outlets are reporting. Well, first and foremost, that Undisputed, after its hiatus, has been experiencing a lot of low ratings on the television show. And some are pointing that potentially over the summer, when they take their summer break, there's a lot of people out there, TV executives, media executives out there, that's saying that Undisputed may not even make it through this summer break. And they probably are going to make an announcement that they are going to cancel Undisputed. Now, first and foremost, Undisputed was never, even with Shannon Sharpe, I mean, it did get viewership, but remember when the whole concept of Undisputed started, 8-9 years ago, that it was supposed to be the first take killer. It was supposed to be competition for ESPN's First Take flagship show. And even with Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless, they managed to grab the ratings once. And then after that, it was a slaughter with First Take and Undisputed. But even with Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless, they did have, a lot of viewers watching their show. They, had, decent to average ratings if you're comparing it to First Take. But as far as comparing it to just the Fox Sports 1 flagship, it was the top dog, okay? Undisputed was highly rated with Skip and Shannon, more so than Colin Hurd's The Herd, Speak for Yourself, First Things First. I mean, it's their, flagship top dog show. All right. So it did compete that way. And if you look at what's going on with CBS Sports and NBC Sports, they're no competition with Undisputed when they had a Skip and Shannon. And, I enjoyed the show. I watched Undisputed a lot more than First Take. That's my, I like the show. I like the concept. And I like the characters of the show. The personalities of the show. I like Skip Bayless always being a hater, okay? Always wearing that villain's hat. Everyone, don't like Skip Bayless's takes and things of that nature. But I also like the dynamic of Shannon Sharpe. And during that whole 9 years, you start seeing a transformation of Shannon Sharpe. In the beginning, everyone said that Skip Bayless was the star. But throughout that duration, everyone started leaning towards Shannon Sharpe, and Shannon Sharpe was the show. All right? Shannon Sharpe had the skits. Shannon Sharpe was funny. He was likable on social media. He was well respected with media members as well as sports athletes, and things of that nature. Not to say that there's not a lot of people that didn't like Skip Bayless. I just don't think it was a huge amount of support for Skip Bayless in the media, as well as, modern day sports athletes. Okay. Either can't identify with Skip Bayless or, just didn't like Skip Bayless because of his takes and his antics and things of that nature, what he have said on First Take and Undisputed. All right. But nevertheless, I felt like this was a better dynamic than whatever First Take was throwing with Stephen A. Smith and at one point Max Kellerman. Then it was Stephen A. Smith versus the world. I still like the concept of Undisputed. Okay. Now, Fox Sports 1 made a decision, and I think they made the wrong decision, They chose Skip Bayless over Shannon Sharpe. And let's just be clear, okay? They already signed Skip Bayless not once but twice. He's already lock, stocked, and barrel with Fox Sports 1. Even if Fox Sports 1 did not like, all of a sudden just did not like Skip Bayless, they was not going to eat that money and just let Skip Bayless just sit at home making that money, okay? And the way how that contract is constructed, Skip Bayless would be unwilling to take a buyout. Plus, Skip Bayless owns some, I think, if not all, but some rights to Undisputed. The name Undisputed, the show concept, the show itself, okay? So it would have cost Fox Sports 1 more money to let Skip Bayless go than to let Shannon Sharpe walk, all right? Shannon Sharpe was still under his first contract with Fox Sports 1, and they tried to negotiate him, and they just couldn't. And now there's a lot of people out there that said that Shannon Sharpe was not a likable person with the powers that be at Fox Sports 1. I think that, even if, you're bringing them ratings, you're bringing them viewership, you're bringing them money, at the end of the day, are you likable? And there's a lot of executives have came out of the woodwork that used to work at Fox Sports 1, media personalities that used to work at Fox Sports 1, that said that Shannon Sharpe was not, the likable guy, okay? And between the two of Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe, now I will say this: I feel like Skip Bayless, and everyone knows this person at work, that one person at work that get away with everything because he's the teacher pet when it comes to the boss at your location. And everyone can't stand him because he's a likable guy with the members of management. And I think that's what's transpiring with Skip Bayless. He was just more likable with the powers that be than Shannon Sharpe. But nevertheless, Fox Sports 1, I felt like not re-signing Shannon Sharpe was a huge mistake with them. They underestimated the market. They played themselves. They thought that Shannon Sharpe was not going to be a highly demanded person, and he would have to just accept whatever he can accept to remain in television. And it goes to the argument that I said years ago with these executives. Now, I think now the executives get it, but back then, I don't think the powers that be get it, how important and how much of an impact your sports personality is on social media, and how you should take that with more than a grain of salt. All right. Shannon Sharpe has a huge influence on social media, and the powers that be at Fox Sports 1 now, obviously they're not, into social media and really don't understand the nuances of social media. And they didn't, when it was in the negotiations, they didn't think that through as far as keeping Shannon Sharpe or letting Shannon Sharpe go. Hindsight being 50-50, if they had to do it all over again, they would have, and it would have cost them a lot of money. And that was my second argument to why Fox Sports 1 decided to let go of Shannon Sharpe, because at the end of the day, it would have been too expensive to have both of them on a show that, even with both of them there, they couldn't even get half the ratings of First Take. They still could not dethrone First Take. Now, they was getting ratings, they was getting viewership, they were making money. Yeah, that's all fine and dandy, but think about it, guys. They would have been losing more money if they would have kept both of them. You just signed Skip Bayless to another max type contract. You're going to max out Shannon Sharpe, and for what? To get a couple of more thousand views, and you still second fiddle to First Take. Because at the end of the day, guys, competition is good. Okay? Competition thrives sports media just like any other community. And at the end of the day, the powers that be looked at it, and I feel like those are the two things that were plaguing Shannon Sharpe. He was not a likable guy with the personnel with the powers that be, And two, they're saying, okay, why are we going to max these two guys out and we're not going to get maximum effort? Well, not, they're not going to get maximum results when it comes to the ratings, when it comes to the viewership, and when it comes to the ratings and the viewership, that's when you make the money. Okay, that's when you make your money back. So, I feel like it is the reason why Shannon Sharpe is not there. He was not a likable person with the powers that be, and it would have gotten too expensive. But if I was the powers that be, I would have maxed out Shannon Sharpe. But if I would have maxed out Shannon Sharpe, I would give Shannon Sharpe his own show. That way, you got two shows that's potentially making money for you. You still got Skip Bayless, Lock, Stock, and Barrel with Undisputed, and you got Shannon Sharpe. Now, me personally, I would have had Shannon Sharpe as the first. I would have gotten rid of the Carson show. I would have canceled that. Shannon Sharpe would have that time slot. Then right after Shannon Sharpe is Undisputed, and occasionally Shannon Sharpe go do simulcast with Skip Bayless with Undisputed. Therefore, Undisputed is not hurting in the ratings. They're collaborating with one another, and life would have been good with Fox Sports 1 if they would have went that route. But a lot of people they don't get that it would have cost Undisputed more money in the long run, and they would have never gained their money back by bringing back Shannon Sharpe and letting Shannon Sharpe continue to do Undisputed. Plus, another thing, they will have Skip Bayless would have to eat a lot of influence and control over that show. They will have to give it would nearly have to be a 50-50 partnership with Skip Bayless. But if you already gave in his contract, and a lot of people are saying this, I don't know if this to be true, but the second contract Skip Bayless signed, well, even the first contract, it's his show. Therefore, they can't negotiate something that they already negotiated with Skip Bayless. But if it was me, I would have kept Shannon Sharpe and just gave him his own show. That's just me. Now, another thing that's hurting Fox Sports 1 as well as Skip Bayless' Undisputed show, I felt like they went too hard on this is the new Undisputed, and they signed way too many football personalities. Now, when we were talking about it, I thought that this was just going to be the football cast, and then when basketball comes in, they're going to have a basketball cast. That's going to be completely different. And they were getting below decent ratings. They still didn't get the majority of their ratings like they used to get with Shannon Sharpe, because a lot of those people who are Shannon Sharpe fans just follow Shannon Sharpe. You're never going to get those fans back. And I thought, with Richard Sherman, Michael Irvin, Keyshawn Johnson, and Skip Bayless, I thought that would have been a decent football cast, and to have them through the whole duration of football season. But I thought that Skip Bayless should have had a completely different basketball cast, similar to what ESPN does. ESPN have Damian Woody and I forgot the other guy that does the podcast, and Stephen A. Smith and Mad Dog and Molly. Sometimes they'll have a football cast, but when they're talking about basketball topics, they have a different complete cast when they're talking about basketball. And I thought that's what they was going to do with Undisputed. No, they just kept the football cast. I think that was a bad move. I think that was a Skip Bayless move. And I think when Skip Bayless was selling this to the powers that be, they just went along with it. And it just goes to show that the powers that be are not that quite knowledgeable, not only with social media, but with sports. Common sense things like no one in the room, when Skip Bayless was pitching this, no one in the room said, well, yeah, we understand that you want this football cast, but when basketball season starts, I think we should have a totally new cast. And who knows, maybe it was cost efficient. Maybe Fox Sports 1 couldn't afford 2 separate casts, but I would have tried to do that. And I remember, when they talked about this concept of Michael Irvin, Richard Sherman, and Keyshawn Johnson, I even said in that video the possibilities of their basketball cast, and one of the persons I mentioned was Paul Pierce. I also mentioned Jalen Rose. I was mentioning a lot of guys that have huge impacts in the basketball world that are, out there as free agents, and Fox Sports 1 chose, no, and I think that was another bad idea. I don't know if it was all Skip Bayless's ideal or the powers that be. It really doesn't matter. It's just a bad deal. Now, I think there is a bright spot with their football cast. I think there's a lot of people that like Michael Irvin, but in moderation. I don't think people want to see Michael Irvin 5 days a week. In moderation, maybe when Dallas Cowboy talks, when they talk about the Dallas Cowboys, include Michael Irvin, help, Skip Bayless not get ganged up by the other football personalities on the show. I thought Richard Sherman was going to be a lot more than they ultimately got from him. I think Richard Sherman knows the X and O's about football. He can occasionally be funny, but Richard Sherman is not a big-time personality. I'm sorry, he just isn't. All right, the same could be said for Keyshawn Johnson. Keyshawn Johnson is, he's quite knowledgeable about sports and particularly football and college football, but at the end of the day, I don't think Keyshawn Johnson is that big time personality that you want to see 5 days a week. All right, so together they make a decent team, but I still felt like Undisputed. The powers that be should have had a basketball cast. Okay. Anyway, I feel like that's another thing that's hurting the show. Another thing that's really hurting this show is sex appeal. Look at all the morning debate shows, all the morning sports shows, even news shows like the Today Show, CBS News This Morning, or Good Morning America. What's the one thing all these shows have in common? Sex appeal. They have a woman on the set that is attractive and that's likable with the male sports audience. That's another dynamic that's killing this show. It may not be the main dynamic, but it is a dynamic. Okay, eye candy does not hurt a show. It only enhances the show. And normally the eye candy is the moderator. Now Skip Bayless decided, well, I want to be my own moderator. Now I feel like that was another huge mistake that the powers that be didn't understand. I don't know if this was a Skip Bayless ideal or the powers that be it was their ideal. Really doesn't matter. It's a bad ideal. And I feel like Skip Bayless got burned by the last moderators that he had. Okay. And he's probably saying to himself, I'm not going to get burned again by another moderator. I'll just do it myself. I think that was a bad move and a bad ideal for Undisputed and Fox Sports 1. They should have had a moderator, a female moderator, or just have and I think what they did was they did the bait and switch. I think they said, okay, Skip is going to be the moderator, and we'll just have some other females that come on and talk about sports, like Rachel Nichols. And I love Rachel Nichols, but Rachel Nichols Rachel Nichols is got a lot of dirt on her. She was hating on the one girl that went to NBC Sports. I can't think of her name right now. And two, I don't think a lot of guys consider her as eye candy. It's good for her to come and debate sports topics, particularly about the NBA, but you need a woman in there that's attractive, that's eye candy, but also knowledgeable, but can also set the table to get the guys, when they're debating one another, to get the guys to stay on topic and to stay on track. And I think that's another thing that killed the show. Another thing that's killing this show is your first appearance. I don't know, your first appearance gives everyone an ideal of what your show's possibly going to be what your show's going to be in the future. And I can still remember it to this day when he had everybody on set. The set wasn't even big enough for all of them. Do everyone remember that first episode? Everyone was speaking out of turn. Nobody wasn't in no certain type of flow. Skip Bayless didn't even get to hardly say anything on the first episode. It was just too many. It was too many guys there, and too many of something can hurt a concept or show. And too many guys on a show can definitely hurt a show. That's why you have to have some type of balance, okay? But too many athletes, too many alphas, too many big dogs can definitely, when a show, and I hate to say that, I'm a man myself, when it's too many alphas talking and speaking at the same time, that can definitely hurt a show. It's no different if you had a sports show and it was all women. And they all think the same and they all act the same. That's not going to be a good show, folks. The same concept could be with a bunch of beta guys. They all speak the same, they all sound the same. That's not going to be a good show. And when I first saw that first episode of the new quote unquote Undisputed, I thought it was decent, but it just was not. I wasn't foaming at the mouth going, oh my God, look at the potential. I was hoping some things would work, and by them letting go of a few things, and that was bad. Another thing that's hurting this show is the media coverage. People pointing to the ratings. Every time you talk about Undisputed, it's not what they actually saying or what the things that they're saying that are going viral, which not a lot of stuff coming from Undisputed is going viral. I think that's really hurting them on social media. When Shannon Sharpe was there, he made sure things went viral. When Skip Bayless would throw stuff on the wall, hoping for it to go viral, hoping for it to go to stick, it went viral. They got a handful of shows, and I just can't remember anything that just went viral. Okay? They're missing their identity on social media. Okay? And maybe that's a Shannon Sharpe thing. And when Shannon Sharpe left, he took that with him. But that's really killing and hurting the show. It's just not a lot of things that are going viral on that show that's making it on social media. And, it is what it is. I mean, that's why the views, and we all knew that they were not going to eclipse ESPN First Take. They couldn't eclipse ESPN First Take without Shannon Sharpe. Now they have Shannon Sharpe. There's no way in the world Undisputed is going to eclipse First Take. But the biggest thing, and I've said this time and time again in every single video, the biggest thing is they don't have an equivalent to Shannon Sharpe. They don't have that big time person. The reason why this show is reeking is because they don't have a personality. Yeah, they have Skip Bayless, but he's the guy that you always love to hate. But that's the only dynamic Skip Bayless can possess. Skip Bayless is not the likable uncle. Skip Bayless is not the likable guy. Okay? You have to have a yin and a yang. And right now they just got a yin but no yang. Okay? And I've said this in numerous videos. Undisputed and Skip Bayless, they need to wake up and face the facts. You need a personality. When Jay Williams, the possibility of him leaving ESPN Sports, if he would have left ESPN Sports, I would snatch him before he gets on the street. If JJ Redick is never going to leave ESPN, but let's just say hypothetically, JJ Redick is a free agent and ESPN, and he's free to sign with anywhere. If I was Fox Sports 1, I would pay extra to get Jay Williams or JJ Redick. You need that guy. Now, are they likable guys that a lot of people love? No. Sometimes JJ Redick can be, some of his takes can be off the wall, but JJ Redick, as well as Jay Williams, they're controversy pieces, and that's why they're big time personalities. Okay, Max Kellerman. I know a lot of people don't. I think you need a likable person on Undisputed. That's another thing that's hurting Undisputed. Max Kellerman is a likable guy. Okay, people were choosing Max Kellerman over Stephen A. Smith. Now, you run the risk of, when you sign Max Kellerman, there's a possibility that, he could be the favorite of your show. And that's something that they're going to have to ego stroke into Skip Bayless. Do you want, but Skip, do you want your old ratings back or more ratings? Do you want to get off this slide? Well, Skip Bayless, you're going to have to leave your ego at the door. And Max Kellerman, you just going to have to deal with the popularity of Max Kellerman. Stephen A. Smith could not stand when Max Kellerman was so popular. And there was a lot of, and I can, and now Terrell Owens say it was a joke, but there was a lot of black athletes that thought that Max Kellerman was more black than Stephen A. Smith. And remember, Stephen A. Smith went on like a month, 2 months, proving how black he is, wearing college sorority jackets, and speaking a lot of black lingo on ESPN, and just getting pro alpha black male, getting back into that bag because of that. And when Stephen A. Smith could not stand it, he went to the powers that be and said, hey, either Max go or I go. And they chose, and Max had to go. That's the risk you're going to have to take if you are a Skip Bayless. But Skip Bayless, you have no other avenues. That's something that you're going to have to accept, Max Kellerman. I thought another person. Now, before I say this other person. Now, Max Kellerman was supposed to be replacing Skip Bayless. And to be fair, First Take didn't miss a beat when Skip Bayless left. So that's another thing that Skip Bayless is going to have to accept. Now, another person I feel like is Jalen Rose. I think Jalen Rose is a big personality, a big face out there that's not going to cost you a lot of money. Now, privately, I don't think Jalen Rose respects Skip Bayless. And I feel like the feeling is mutual with Skip Bayless and Jalen Rose. But if the powers that be, they need that one guy in there that knows how to finesse, knows how to talk someone into doing something. If they have that person in the offices, they need to go and talk to Jalen Rose. I think Jalen Rose desperately wants to get back into television as a content creator, a podcast. I'm not saying that he's struggling, but he was doing better with ESPN than when he was doing what he's doing on his own. Okay, it's going to hurt ego-wise for Skip Bayless, and it's also going to hurt the wallets of Fox Sports 1 because you're going to have to pay for Jalen Rose, and Jalen Rose know this. Undisputed Undisputed is in life support. It's dying by the second. And if you want to keep Undisputed, you're going to have to overpay for these guys. It's just my bottom line. Okay. I think Jalen Rose will fit perfectly with Stephen A. Smith. I don't know if Stephen A. Smith would want it to happen. I definitely know that Jalen Rose probably don't want it to happen. But it is what it is. These are the people I feel like that can put a jolt back into Undisputed. As well as the other ideas like having a football crew when football season starts, having a basketball crew when basketball season starts. It don't even have to be a crew. It could be just two guys from the football, they talk about football, and two guys from the NBA, the National Basketball Association, talk about basketball. Okay? that I feel like that's a winning formula. And I feel like getting a female moderator, some eye candy in there, would do wonders for Undisputed as well. And I was always on the concept of, I feel like personally, they should reconsider about changing the time slot of Undisputed. Because even though it's like an hour without really no competition out there, they come on an hour early before First Take. But once First Take starts, whatever little viewership that you had is just gone away. I think Undisputed should have a different time slot so people can enjoy the full show. And then when the show's over with, they can just switch to ESPN. And I was saying that when they had Shannon Sharp. I said, if they want more ratings, why are you lining it up with First Take? Why can't Undisputed come on earlier, and then when the show's over with, then come First Take? I don't understand why they go this way. I understand everyone likes to compete. Everyone wants to know who's the top dog. Everyone wants to know who has the best show. But I think this is very beneficial for Undisputed and for Fox Sports 1, even when they had Shannon Sharp. Okay? And it will help them and do wonders for them now since they don't have Shannon Sharp. But yeah. Now, there's a lot of reports out there that suggest that over the summer, they're going to cancel Undisputed. And I'm not saying never, but they just signed, I think they got 2 more years for Skip Bayless. So if they're willing to eat that money and allow Skip Bayless to just sit at home, they're going to still continue to pay him. Even if you get rid of Undisputed, I mean, what do you have to replace for that time slot? Because the Carson show is not it. It's just not it. Are you going to move First Things First back into the morning? Yeah, they will do decent ratings. They'll probably do more ratings than Undisputed. But are they going to dethrone First Take? No. And why would you kill that show when you already have switched it to the afternoon and they're enjoying a lot of success in the ratings since y'all made that decision? Are you going to put Speak? You going to move Speak up? Are you going to move Colin's show up? There's a lot of people out there that think that Colin Cowherd, once his contract is up, he's no longer dealing with the networks no more. He has his own media company, his own network, The Volume. So he may decide to hang it up. Okay. And when you think about it, what other people out there, personalities out there that can, even that you're going to replace Undisputed show hour with? Are you going to try to bring back Shannon Sharp? Shannon Sharp is not interested because Shannon Sharp has all the cards. Why would he go back to Fox Sports 1? And even if he wants to go back to Fox Sports 1, it'll be way too expensive. So now, something that you should have done a year ago, which was go ahead and max out Shannon Sharp, because you already maxed out Skip Bayless. Now you're deciding to use that ideal, but you're letting Skip Bayless sit at home maxed out. And now you're welcoming with open arms Shannon Sharp that you're going to have to max out. Plus pay a little bit extra, humble pie. That decision was in your hands when you had Shannon Sharp in the door. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think, there's a possibility that Undisputed could be canceled. I think Fox Sports 1, I don't think that's the decision they want to go to. That's one of the decisions that's on the table. But they need to find a personality, a big-time star a big time name, a big time personality. And all the big time personalities are lock, stock, and barrel on their networks. And all those big time personalities know that if you come knocking on their door, you're in desperate mode and you're going to have to pay extra just to pull them away from their networks. And some of these networks are not going to relinquish their big time star. But I'm not saying it's happening, but let's just say Charles Barkley was a free agent. Now, I don't think it's going to happen because Charles Barkley does not like Skip Bayless, and Charles Barkley would love to see Skip Bayless. He's loving it right now that Skip Bayless is scrimmaging in the possibility of his show being canceled. This, that, and third. Charles Barkley would love for Skip Bayless to no longer be on television. Okay. But putting all that to the side, let's just say hypothetically, Charles Barkley is a free agent. And Charles Barkley is smart enough to know that Fox Sports 1 is not holding all the cards. Fox Sports 1 is in desperate mode. In order for them to get Charles Barkley, and what I don't know, I forgot what Charles Barkley making with Turner, but they will have to double, possibly triple what Charles Barkley is getting from Turner. Even to get Charles Barkley in the room, you'll have to commit to paying him double or triple what Turner Sports is giving him. And then it goes back to the decision. It goes back to what I said in the beginning of this video. If you're willing to pay extra, then you would have kept Shannon Sharpe. So they're trapped. They're stuck like Chuck. And there's no way around it. Now, I did a video about the Paul Pierce angle, and I told you how I felt about Paul Pierce. I think it's a solid hire, but he's not that big time personality. That's what they're missing. And they're also missing a moderator. They're missing eye candy. And I feel like the more and more the show goes on, I feel like Skip Bayless is gotten the ears of the powers that be. And obviously the powers that be are not that knowledgeable about sports media or how a show. They need someone at Fox Sports 1 that's highly experienced that can explain to them that, this is why the show is struggling. And it's bad enough it's struggling because of the decision y'all made with Shannon Sharpe. But y'all really killing your own selves. You're cutting your nose to spite your face by these decisions that you have made with this quote-unquote new Undisputed. But yeah, so guys, comment in the comment section. Tell me what you think. It's your boy. I'm up out of here. I'll talk to you guys later. Deuces. Sorry for the long video, by the way.